In November 2021, we briefly passed from the Turkish capital city, Ankara. We used one day to walk around and do a bit of sightseeing. Our first stop was Ankara's Castle, prominently placed atop a high hill in the middle of the city. The exact date of its construction is unknown, but is believed by archaeologists to have taken place sometime in the 7th century AD. The castle itself is surrounded by a residential quarter, very village-like. In there you may completely forget that you're situated in the middle of a vast metropolitan area of 6 million. Like everywhere in Turkey, cats were omnipresent. This is the castle itself. Its ancient walls were surrounded by cute little inhabited houses. There were plenty of nice viewpoints around the wall's periphery. A few tourists around, but not as many as you would expect. Perhaps COVID has played a role. Here we get a distant view of the castle and a fully panoramic one of the city. We spent altogether an hour or two wandering around the citadel, and then we headed back down slowly. Our next stop was the nearby Museum of Anatolian Civilizations. Generally speaking, I'm not much into museums, especially when you have to pay to enter. But this particular one was absolutely worth it. It featured an outstanding collection of historic artifacts left behind by the numberless civilizations that have thrived around the region of Asia Minor, as well as some interesting representations of ancient life. Plenty of gold stuff too, just imagine what they would be worth. This is a heated cuneiform table. Writing wasn't an easy job back then. Some king probably, with his curly beard and hair. And here is the Greco-Roman section. Anyway, we took our time to walk around, marvel at all these interesting artworks, and headed back out to the city. Here we are in the old town of Ankara, a very cute place with its traditional Ottoman houses, narrow cobbled streets, restaurants and tea shops and souvenir shops. Again, the place was far less touristic than I would expect. Surely COVID must have had an impact, but I suppose even at normal times, not many people who visit Turkey come to the capital. They go to Istanbul and the beaches, obviously, and other famous historical places. This is one of Ankara's most famous mosques, built on top of an old Roman temple. It is named after Haji Bayram, a legendary medieval poet and founder of a famous Sufi order. And this is the westward view from the mosque, where we will be heading to now. An outdoor escalator, not something you commonly see in cities around the world. And we are out of the historic center, a typical residential quarter. This was museum day. I don't think that ever before in my life I went to two museums in one day. These are the ancient Roman baths. No place to have a dip or wash nowadays, but fairly interesting ancient ruins. A nice peaceful place to have a walk overall. Back out in the city, we were intent on visiting Kemal Atatürk's mausoleum. On our way thither, passed through Genclik Park, a lovely place. It had fountains, ponds, cafes, and even a fun fair. But we stopped for an ice cream, lingered too much, and by the time we eventually made it to the mausoleum, it was closed. Doesn't matter, I can live with it. Maybe another time.